I am Loki of Asgard.
Asgard.
Somehow, Loki's charisma, charm, and just general dreaminess got him his own Disney Plus spin-off show even after his character's death in Avengers Infinity War.
Your adopted brother Loki is one of those beings.
That's impressive. I'd like to see Quicksilver do that. But what can we expect from Loki's upcoming TV show, and what questions absolutely need to be answered? Well, let's get into it right now.
Big metaphor guy. I love it. Makes you sound super smart. I am smart.
When Loki stole the tesseract during Endgame, he jetted off to parts unknown, and thankfully this will probably have to be the very first question the show answers. But the big question with this is, will Loki immediately get captured by the TVA, or will he get up to some classic Loki shenanigans for a bit before being apprehended? Well, I love me some Loki shenanigans, so I hope it's the former. We still don't know who Loki is up against or what his exact mission is, but could it be that he's fighting other variant Lokis? In the comics, Loki has a ton of different versions of himself, including Kid Loki, King Loki, and Lady Loki, so could we see them pop up in the TV show? It would make a good amount of sense. Loki's actions with the Tesseract have caused splinters in the timeline all across history, and now other versions of Loki are causing serious damage. That puts our Loki to not only be in a good position to stop them, but also learn some valuable lessons from the other versions of himself and hopefully become the good-ish guy we saw in Thor Ragnarok. Obviously, the TVA, which stands for Time Variance Authority, is playing a huge role in the series. But what exactly is their job and how do they function? Have they played parts in anything we've seen before? How come they didn't show up when the Avengers started time traveling everywhere? These are the questions we need answered. But are the TVA here to become a vital timeline-saving organization that we will see constantly throughout the MCU now that the multiverse is here? Or are they the ultimate bad guys who will be wiped out by the season's end? Time will tell. See what I did there? When we heard Owen Wilson was joining the MCU, I'm sure we all thought just one word. Whoa! No, that doesn't sound right. What was it again? Anyway, Wilson will be playing the mysterious Mobius M. Mobius, and fingers crossed that the show really goes all out with the character. Because sure, as the trailers suggest, Mobius seems like a bureaucrat who wants to do his job well. But at the end of the day, will he be friend or foe to Loki? And will the show follow the comic plot point where a ton of agents are just copies of Mobius? Can you imagine not just one Owen Wilson, but hundreds? Say it with me. Still not right. It was stated when the series was first announced that we would see Loki causing his usual mischief throughout history and be a factor in several major historical events. But now the question is, where will we see him pop up? What famous historic moment would be even better if Loki was there? I mean, it feels like every time travel show with historic events deals with the JFK assassination at some point, so all I'm saying is, be on the lookout for a Loki helped assassinate JFK joke. The MCU is in an interesting position right now as the last huge overarching threat of Thanos is vanquished. That leaves a new opening for a new big bad to swoop in and slowly start assembling evil forces for a future confrontation with the Avengers. And could we meet them in Loki? Two big villains who could appear with a brief introduction would be Kang the Conqueror, set to show up in the upcoming Ant-Man Quantumania, and Nightmare, who is a big Doctor Strange villain, both of which could make their official MCU appearance in Loki due to the timey-wimey nature of things. For the most part, it seems like the MCU shows are really trying to keep these as contained stories. Former characters from other franchises really don't show up that much in WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But will that change for Loki? Loki is a time-traveling show, and he journeys throughout the universe, so it would be a little strange if familiar characters didn't show up, right? And given their close relationship, could we possibly see a Thor cameo? Thor and Loki deserve more screen time, especially this new unrehabilitated version of Loki. Kevin Feige made some waves when he said that the end of Loki would tie directly into the events of the upcoming Doctor Strange 2. But how would this work out? Well, Loki is probably hopping to different timelines and even potentially different dimensions as he completes whatever mission the TVA has him on. And wouldn't this catch the attention of the Sorcerer Supreme? We know that Doctor Strange's sequel is called The Multiverse of Madness. But what if Loki's meddling is what first puts Doctor Strange on a path to explore the multiverse more in depth? Maybe with Wanda by his side? Loki is great at faking his death, so when Thanos choked the life out of him in Avengers Infinity War, which was a totally tragic moment given his redemption arc, fans weren't quite sure whether to believe that Loki was truly dead. Sure, this definitely looked different than the other times, but you never know with the trickster god. And although the version of Loki we're now following is a Loki from the past, the question still remains. Is the OG Loki actually dead? I expect the Loki TV show to fully answer this, and that will let us fans shed more tears and accept this new Loki, don't you think? But now that we're stuck with this slightly evil version of Loki, the question is, will this version stick around? If Loki is truly hunting Loki variants, like it's rumored, does this mean that this new Loki has to be wiped out too? Or could this Loki find a way to not only vanquish all the bad guys, but also return to the main timeline to continue living as Loki and fighting alongside his brother Thor? Given the audience's love for the character, this is actually highly likely. So good news for Loki fans. But of course, the biggest question for me has to be whether there'll be a season 2. Given the format, I think it's totally possible. And a Loki season 2 is probably better than a supporting role in future movies because it means more Loki.